very huge playoff implications for this next game. But Big Ben will be setting it is 12-3 Steelers, who have locked up the division title crowned last week, at Browns, who are 10-5, need a win against the Steelers to make the playoffs for the first time in 18 years, T-Ball.
Yeah, the Steelers did
With
lock
Big
up that
Ben sitting
AFC
down.
North. Tough break last week for the Browns, not getting that call
Jets.
and that loss last week. But granted, the Browns were without 3 of their receivers.
Four.
So,
COVID
3, 4.
protocols.
I mean, you still lost to the Jets. Browns are at home.
They need it.
I'd like to see the Browns win this, so I'm going to pick the Browns. But don't get me wrong for one single second. The Steelers should absolutely win this game, but I'm going to pick the Browns for an upset.
Well, I don't even know if it's really an upset, because if you think about it, the Steelers are sitting Big Ben.
Well, the Steelers have already beat the Browns this year.
Yeah, once, and it doesn't matter what the Browns do.
I think
they won't get the title.
I think the only way Browns can get a guaranteed win is if the Steelers sit all their starters and the Browns
defense.
start all theirs.
Well, they have to they have to win to make the playoffs. So Browns are obviously going to, start their players. But I'm wondering, because I haven't seen nothing yet, and this is Tuesday that we are talking about this, and I haven't seen it yet. But the only thing I seen was this Big Ben thing. So what I'm saying is, what if they sit all their defensive starters and wait for the playoffs? It's like, okay, then it's a for sure thing. But I don't know, because I haven't seen it yet. But yet at the same time, are they Steelers second string better than the fucking Browns? And I don't know.
I mean, okay, let's look at it this way. The Steelers still need this win because they're still battling for a number 2 seed.
Yeah, 2-3 spot. But I mean, right now it's the Bills.
Yeah, Bills currently locked it up. But if the Bills lose to Miami,
And
the Bills will go to third. If the Steelers win and the Bills lose to Miami, then Steelers take over the number 2 spot. So I wouldn't say, if I was the Steelers, I really wouldn't rest a whole lot of people.
Well, that's what blows my mind about Big Ben. It's like, okay, I get it. He's got a lot of injuries going on lately. More and more have been piling up.
You can rest him and still be successful.
Mason Rudolph? Rudolph.
I don't think, Ben. I don't think Ben's that much of a factor.
I mean, he's a very good quarterback. He's not great anymore. He's not elite. I've been saying it, just to go back to that little point. But I'm just saying, I do look at this game, and I'm looking at it like, okay, I would still not set Ben because he's still good and better than everybody else on the fucking rest of the team.
So that's another decision a really tough decision for probably both teams if they're going to sit anybody is, who are we going to sit? How are we going to sit them for how long? And how are we going to match up next week? There's a lot of decisions going into both these teams.
That's why I don't think
any of them are going to go into this game taking each other lightly at all, especially with the Steelers already having a win over the Browns. But I think both have been coming out ready to win, and I think the Browns are just going to be that much hungry, especially since they're so salty. I mean, I know you saw him on the sidelines after losing that fumble.
He's pissed.
Just depleted.
That was a horrible call. I don't care. It looked like he got the first down to me, but I am going to pick the Steelers regardless if Big Ben is playing or not, because I think the Browns find a way to fuck it up and screw up their 18 years chance to go back to the playoffs after all this success, all this year, and all the bullshit they've had to go through. I think they find a way to screw it up. I really do. Just think about it like this. Even if they set the starters at halftime for the Steelers on defense, or set them all together and play the second string or third string, I still think that's probably better than the Jets' defense. True. Now, a lot of people are going to argue and go, that Jets got awesome run defense, or blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, a couple games out of the fucking year, these last 2 they've won? Right. Don't give me that bullshit. I think the Steelers are still going to get them. Mike Tomlin, don't forget, he's the coach over there. I just think he has a better chance at getting this game. And, I didn't pick the Steelers last week because they really should have lost that game. They played a nothingness game in the first half with Big Ben. And then second half, I don't know if he took steroids or smelling salts or had some sex at halftime. And he come out, he was a totally different guy. He was the Big Ben from last year, finally thrown for 300-plus yards, blah, blah, all that stuff. And they fucking ball out and come back and beat the Colts, which shouldn't have happened.
17
shouldn't have happened.
Deficit.
I mean, geez, at one point it was 23-3.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with the Steelers this week. I think they really know that they want. I would rather have a 2 than a 3 or 4 seed. To be totally honest. I mean,
well, there's so many scenarios we won't fully know who sits where until this week is over.
Right. But
there's a lot of things you can see like in the NFC that's a little different, but the AFC is still kind of pretty much undecided all the way between anything under a 1 and 2 seed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I got Browns. He's got Steelers. Next week 17, final regular season game. Guys, once we get all the playoff seeds and everything situated and we find out what's going on, we'll break that down for you. We'll make sure we keep it coming. This is the Week 17 pick right here in the Heated Waves podcast. I'm your boy T-Ball.
And I'm Mr. Bradley. You stay classy, YouTube.
And thanks for stopping by.